Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today was the big day. I took my test. I did. And it was so much fun. Let me just tell you about my day. Went to work. They open up the center for tests at 12:30, so I planned to get there a little early. I think I got there around 12. And you go inside and you first go into your, mind you, it's MEPS, so it's Military Entrance Processing Station, so it caters to all different branches. So you go in, you find your branch office, and you get settled in. They take your phone, they take your watch. I have a smartwatch. Took my phone, took my watch, and held on to my keys because some guy decided as I was going into the building to let me know that they were not going to allow me to bring in my backpack, which is my purse. So I went all the way back out to my car, dropped it off, come to find out that I could have brought it in, but it's all good. So I leave my keys with them and they actually tell me that I had to take out my lip ring. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And my hair was down, so they didn't see my cartilage and the little tiny hoops that I have in my ear, or I guess they didn't peep my tongue ring either, but I took my lip ring out, put it in my wallet for safekeeping. And once you do all that, you sit down. You're in a row of chairs, and one by one, they call you up to process your examination request. When you go up, they take your fingerprints and they take your picture. They issue you a name tag you put on your left breast, and it's like, it has to be there at all times while you're in the building, and it has to be visible. So your hair can't be in the way, clothes can't be in the way, has to be visible. And they go over your paperwork, make sure that your name, your address, your date of birth, all of the information that you have listed on there matches your social security card and your driver's license, and everything is correct. Once you've gotten the green light, you have a seat, and they call everyone in groups and they take you back to the test center, which looks like every other school computer lab. It reminded me of elementary school. Anyhow, the lady assigns you a computer. You may be sitting next to one, you may be sitting by yourself, you may be facing someone else, but you're not allowed to talk. Everything is keep your eyes on your screen. They give you one sheet of plain paper and a pencil. Put your social security in, read the instructions, and start your test. So I think it took about 40 minutes for all of us to process before they brought us into the room. So it had to have been around 12:45, maybe 1 o'clock already. And so we start the test. I made 2 grave decisions prior to going into this test. One, I didn't dress appropriately. I was freezing cold the entire time. I was shivering in my seat. It was so cold in there. But good gracious, I was so cold. I was miserable. And I was like, man, I have to sit here for 3 to 4 hours while I complete this test. And my second, I was drinking water all morning. So not only was I cold, I had to use the bathroom so badly. Oh my goodness. And once you start the test, because I said, ma'am, can I go use the bathroom? Are they permitted during this test? She's like, yes, you have to wait until you're in between sections. And I was like, okay. I was in the middle of a section, and I had to have been in the middle of the longest one so far. The sections are already programmed into the computer, so you are literally going through them as they are in the computer. You don't get to pick and choose which section to do first. And so I think they started us with a math, and then we went to word knowledge, and I was in the middle of paragraph comprehension. They gave you an hour and a half to complete this section, and I think it must have been about 30 questions, and I was only about 15 minutes in. I was about to burst. It was so bad, and I knew based on the practice exam that I took at the recruiting station that my English was going to save me. So I knew I needed to focus. And so I took my time and I read every paragraph and I answered every question to the best of my ability. But as soon as I pressed next on that last question and I finished that, my hand was up. Ma'am, please. She's like, go, but make it quick, make it snappy. Yes, ma'am. I ran out of that room. When I finally got back, she's still standing next to my computer, logs me back in, and I finished the test. And once I got past the 4 required sections that make up your AFQT score, I was able to relax and actually enjoy it. Like I knew surprisingly more than I thought I would for the rest of the sections. For math, I felt like I was going to fail. The math that I had studied up until this point was not on the test. These questions were something else. And so what did I do? I made a logical guess. What else can you do in those situations? So I just looked at the question and I said, well, what makes sense? That one. Okay, we're using that. Half the time I was giggling to myself because I'm like, this is crazy. Please, Lord, help me pass. And I did say a prayer before I entered. Said a prayer before I even started. So I was like, look, it's in your hands. There's nothing more I can do. I studied enough, I guess. Everything else is just in your hands. And I finally finished the 9 sections. Assembling objects was a lot harder than I thought it would be. They made it very, very difficult. And I was like, this is supposed to be the easiest one. I was like, man, I'm finally done. The 9 sections. Psych. There's 2 more. Surprise, surprise. When you go in for a specific branch, every branch, I guess, has tagged on their own little safety nets at the end of the test to test you on something that pertains to that branch. With this one, the Navy, they have 2 tests that they've added on to the back of the 9 sections. The first one was on speed and accuracy. And basically, they give you a bank of words that are associated with a number. And then they give you a table below filled with numbers of... They give you maybe 3 to 4 minutes to go through 80 questions. And you're supposed to pick the word that they give. Well, you take the word that they give you, you find the number that's associated to it, and you look into this table of numbers, just numbers. And you have to find it in the proper row and column. And there's 80 of them. And you have to go through and score as accurately and as quickly as possible. And they tell you in the very beginning, they're like, don't be alarmed. Very few actually finish the test. There's not enough time. They don't know me. I finished and moved on to the next one. Now, the next one was memory. And not only was it memory, but it was memory with numbers. Ugh. And basically it was a game. It was a numbers game where they give you a line, and the line represents a number. And they add a box on top, or they put a box underneath, and you have to add a number or subtract add a number or subtract a number. So say the number is 3. There's a box on top of the line. Now it's 4. There's a box underneath. Now it's 3 again. But it's not that easy or simple. There's 3 lines. And so you're having to remember a sequence of numbers, 333, and keep tabs on those numbers as boxes appear at different speeds throughout the test. So 343, 345, 347, 372. Ugh, I guessed every single one. At one point, I just put my hand on my head and I was like, I couldn't keep up. After this test, I was like, my God, if I get in, it'll be a miracle. So you finish everything, turn in your scrap paper, turn in your pencil. She signs you out and tells you to go to the front to check out for the day. And I was like, when do you find out if you passed? And she's like, go to the front and check out. I was like, okay. So I go to the front. There I said, hey, I'm done with my test and I'm ready to check out. So he has me scan my finger, which is, I guess, their checkout process, and then go collect my belongings. And so I go into the Navy office and I grab my phone and my watch and my keys. And I'm waiting for one of the representatives to sit down and speak with me about my score. So the guy finally shows up, sits down. He goes, you know, you need a 31 to get into the Navy, right? And I was like, yes. He goes, okay, just making sure. And I was like, did I? He was like, eh. What? Anyway, I had an amazing time today. I walked out the door at 4:15. I was there for so long. They usually tell you 3 to 4 hours, so you're assuming that you're gonna get out around like 3 o'clock and be Gucci. But no, by the time I came out, everyone else was gone. And there was a group of kids, and that was another thing. I was there with a whole bunch of teenagers. Like, they had to have looked at me when I walked in the door and be like, who is this old lady? And my mom called as soon as I walked out the door. And she's like, so? And I was like, I will tell you next time.